Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Necked Out Podcast. I am your host, Usica.
What up, everybody? This is Beast.
I got my other co-host over there. This is our first episode that we're doing.
Welcome.
We're excited.
Welcome to the Necked Out Podcast.
Let's just do a quick little introduction of who we are for those of you that don't know us.
All right, everybody. So I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Incredible over here. His name is Usica. You might have heard him on the track. You might have heard him on one or two tracks, 3 or 4, depending on how vast your musical knowledge is. But we got Usica right here, holding it down on the Necked Out Podcast. Usica.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm going into the ring to box.
Yes.
And over here to my right, I have a monster of a person, a human being. His name is Beast. His real name is Brian, but we call him Beast. And the reason why is because he's a fucking beast on the drums. He fucks it up all the time.
Sometimes.
He's always on rhythm. No metronome needed, bitches.
Nah, I need the metronome.
Fuck a metronome.
I fucked it up pretty bad though.
Don't tell him that. Don't worry. He's just overcompensating now.
I could remember one that was terrible, but anyways.
Okay, well, thanks for ruining my intro.
No ruining.
I was trying to compliment you and build you up.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
But we are here. We're doing this podcast. We hope you guys find it entertaining. First of all, full disclosure, if you didn't notice, I just cursed. I said fuck. And so that should be quite an indicator of what kind of podcast this is going to be. It's going to be an unfiltered podcast. It's going to be raw. We're not going to shy away from cursing. We're not going to shy away from mature topics. It can be anything. And we're just going to give our honest, raw opinions.
Yes.
And if you don't like that, if that's something that offends you, that's fine. This podcast is not for you.
Or maybe it's for them, but when the kids are tucked away.
Yes.
Maybe it's for you.
This could be your after hours podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, give us a chance.
And today being the first day that we are on the Necked Out Podcast, we got a special guest for you.
A very special guest.
Someone
indeed.
that you may actually know.
Oh, it's possible.
Or somebody that you may have heard on the radio. Someone that you might have seen on tour.
This lovely lady, this lovely lady walks into the room and just fills the room with her beautiful smile.
Introducing
the one and
only
Larry Alexander.
I felt like you disappointed so many guys.
Why?
Oh, because they thought we had like a girl in here.
A girl in this.
It's all right.
They gonna be a little thicky.
Well, they
Sorry,
can't see
guys.
her. Well, she is a
Sorry.
little thicky.
She's a little thick, but it's not like.
It's not like that.
It's not like
It's
that.
not like that.
Unfortunately, it's not like that. But it's all good.
But yes, we have Larry Alexander. Larry, how you doing today, sir?
What up, man? I'm
Yo.
doing pretty good.
What's good, dog?
Pretty good. Excited to be here.
You excited
you.
to be here on the Necked Out
Thank you
Podcast?
for
Yeah.
thank you
Oh,
for
you
taking
ain't
the
gotta
time out
lie.
of your busy schedule and having to commute so far.
Yeah.
I appreciate
You know,
it.
we really appreciate
you
your
being
time. And we hope that it's going to be an interesting conversation for all of us.
Yeah. Hopefully, it don't take me long to get home. To get back home.
No, we'll try to get you out of here on time.
We
Try to get you out of here on time.
I heard you got other things lined up.
Yeah.
You got other things lined up. Yeah,
long
yeah.
commute.
Long
Yeah.
commute.
Yeah.
Other radio podcast stations to stop at.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got it,
that's
got
right.
it.
Well, your publisher hit us up and they told us that we're on a strict schedule, so
Yes.
we're gonna make sure that
Yeah.
we try to
Please,
get you,
yes.
if possible, even a little earlier out of here. So
Thank you.
So how
I
you
appreciate
doing?
that.
yeah,
but
of course.
I'm doing good. Just
How's everything at work? Everything cool at work?
everything's
Chilling.
good. Everything's good at work.
Yeah.
Just trying to get through this Corona pandemic
Mhm.
season.
Yeah.
Just trying to get through it. But
Yo,
It feels like we're not even through that, and we're already into some other bullshit.
bro.
yeah.
Yo, hold on. Before we get into that, though, for the people that don't know you, what are some of the things that they might have heard you from? If they kind of had a little taste.
For those that, for the few that have,
Yeah, for
gotten
the few that
For the few
maybe
that
haven't
have
heard
gotten-
yet.
yeah, I have released a couple of songs.
Oh,
Right.
there
Released
you
a
go.
couple of songs. Released Blessed.
Hey,
Oh,
the
infamous Blessed.
Yeah. Produced by
Yep.
See, I
the
don't
man
know.
himself.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
me?
It's crazy
Did I do
because
that?
I kind of have the privilege of being with the producer and the artist that have made some fire ass tracks.
Yeah.
It's not the
Appreciate
first.
that.
It's not the first one that we made either.
It's
I mean, it's not the last.
It's not the
the last
first or
one,
the
yeah.
last.
Yep.
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 So we
It's too
got
bad
blessed.
that I've heard, and this is just so people know, I've heard other dope tracks that both of y'all have made and that you've worked on that have a little something going on, but the rest of the world has not heard yet.
That's true.
Why?
talking
Why
about-
is this, Larry?
Um.
Why is this? Can you tell us why?
Yeah. I mean, time, energy, being thrown in different things, different areas, and it's just hard to, be able to find the time and the energy to
Yeah.
invest in it, especially because I think I'm a perfectionist in a way, so to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So
Drink
it's
your
hard
own.
for me to like be okay with what I'm releasing or something before putting it out, before giving it the green light. And then at the same time, like, because my time and energy is going
Yeah.
in so many different areas that I don't have the time and energy that I feel I need
Yeah.
in order to finish a track. So
I don't.
I apologize to Usica because of the amazing beats that he's shared with me.
Nobody
and-
can see right now, but I am rolling my eyes so fucking
Yeah.
hard at this man.
You know what's crazy though? I don't know if this is crazy for me saying this, but I feel like when you know somebody that just has like a certain something, like you could hear it. I just wish they were doing more of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I hear when I hear both of you guys
Mm.
working together and like working on songs. I'm
Yeah.
always wishing that we could hear more of it.
It's always fun because like when we do link up and work together, like we'll have a lot of different projects that we work on, but it's only like I feel like only the really really good ones are the ones
Yeah.
that we finish.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the ones that I feel like
Really.
Blessed was dope.
Well, and
The
it's-
Grand Life
yeah.
was dope.
And it's interesting because, like, it don't mean the other tracks won't come out. Like,
Right.
for example, the Grand Life. Like, I had that beat
Yeah.
for like 2 years.
From Us?
No,
No, that
because
was
that
from-
was originally the Grand Life
Uh-huh.
was originally produced by somebody else, and then Usica just came and changed up the drums. The
You should-
melody stayed the same.
Yeah.
You
but
should
he added
shout
some
out that
drums.
person.
Yeah, shout out to Logan Morrison.
Shout out to
for-
Logan Morrison.
for the amazing beat,
out to Logan.
amazing melody.
So that
and
was
all
actually co-produced. I
Yeah.
actually co-produced that one.
yeah.
We didn't technically collaborate on it back and forth,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah.
did provide the initial,
Look at that.
the
Idea.
foundation for that.
Some deep inside
Some-
scoop.
some background
on the
story.
Necked Out
and I
podcast,
just
bro.
and I just came in and just kind of just ruined it.
That's pretty witty.
Yeah. So with the Grand
Yeah.
Life, I had been sitting on that track and even the hook.
Yeah.
You know, the what did I do to deserve this? Like I had been sitting with that for 2 years. Like I had recorded that melody and that hook for
No way. So
2
you already
years
had that
earlier.
recorded, that
Yeah.
melody?
Yeah, that was already
Wow.
recorded, and then when I decided to get back on the music,
Yeah.
I was like, let me just go through the hard drive and through the different
That's
folders
crazy,
and stuff, and
bro.
Yeah.
and I found it. I was like, yo, this actually sounds dope.
Yeah.
The drums could be improved, but
Yeah.
and I showed it to Us, and he was with it, and we did something
That's
different. So
And then you guys got that other beast that's out there.
Amazing,
on the track,
amazing
bro.
singer.
You got her on it,
you're definitely gonna hear more from her,
bro.
That's
Cassie.
gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Bro, she's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun
I want to
time.
hear more from her and definitely more from both of y'all. I've heard some of the tracks that you guys don't release, and I'm kind of like, man.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I mean, and I feel like it's like that with any artist or musician. Not everything that they start an idea on is gonna see the light of day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anytime we actually get to finish a song,
Yeah.
it's kind of a big deal.
Right.
And I think for anybody, like, I don't know, me personally, I have a lot of ideas on my laptop. I
Mhm.
maybe like 10% of them have
Yeah.
seen the light of day.
Yeah.
There are a lot of rejected
Wow.
tracks in there. A lot of decent ideas. Some of them just, for some reason, they just kind of stop where they
Yeah.
end at. That's pretty much it. And they don't go any further than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. That's just
Yeah.
me. So, yeah. It's
Yeah.
I
always a
think
good
it's
time.
hard. It's hard. It's already like that with many artists, right?
Yeah.
And it's even harder when, you're an artist that, enjoys making music,
Yeah.
but have so many other things, in your life going on. Like like with me, that's what's going on, right? Like I have so much stuff going on outside of the music stuff, and I've had to decide like, yo, I gotta make a sacrifice somewhere and pause on something for right now
Yeah.
in order to keep my sanity.
Yeah.
And and it had to be music for
Yeah.
me personally.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong, and
Yeah.
maybe in a week or two I could completely change my mind and get back on a music grind, but
Yeah.
that's just how it is.
It can always change for sure. All right, cool. So, do we just want to jump into it? All right. So, unless you live under a fucking rock,
Yeah.
I'm sure all of you know what's been going on. We're obviously devastated by what's been going on. We're devastated every time we hear about something like this happen because it's not the first time that it happens. So I just want to start off and give my initial thoughts. This is something that I think we have to be grateful that social media was around and that we have not the best, I wouldn't say like amazing cameras, but that we have these little devices in our pockets where we're able to record these kind of things. And here's why. I was hearing that the girl or whoever had initially recorded the video was getting threats made to her because she didn't do anything. And I want people to understand something.
Was she?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I heard that she was recording because I think there were two people. There were two camera angles.
Yeah.
So I think she might have been one of them. I don't know. But anyway, even when stuff like that does happen, a lot of people blame the person who's recording the video. And here's what people need to understand. In this day and age, having a recorded video of something is invaluable. It is fucking priceless. Yep. Yep. And it is oftentimes the best you can do in a situation that George Floyd was in with the other officers. Because had that person not recorded, had that person not been recording, had that person tried to interfere, one, you don't have the footage, right? Two, now that person gets involved with the situation. Officers now can come for that person and put them in a legal situation or blah, blah, blah. Or,
not only that, they could literally like open fire at them or,
take it as a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could take it as a threat. And so I think we should be grateful that, for all the bad things that come with social media, I think there are a lot of good things that come with social media.
Yeah.
I think this is the most, for me, this is one of the biggest things that I'm living through because we're seeing things that I personally have never seen. I know a lot of older folks that grew up in the 80s and 90s. They saw the LA riots, and I know that was on another level. But I think in this climate, it's different because on top of what's already going on in terms of the coronavirus, people are unemployed. Tensions are so flared up, and it's just this was a long way coming, and it just exploded. And again, the beautiful thing about the social media's role in this is that it allows people to share information a lot more quickly, organize a lot more effectively. Even though there are, I want to speak on something too. I don't know if you guys saw this video of Hong Kong and the Japanese and how they organize. It's fucking ridiculous. They organize like if they've met up and practiced for months. You would think that's how they go about these things. Yeah. But they know where the police are. They know where they're going to be. They know that if they're in a certain location and the police get called over there, they know exactly where to go to another route where it's going to take the police a longer time to get there. The cameras that they have on the streets, they take their little lasers and they point them at the cameras so that the cameras can't facially recognize who they are. Like, it's a lot of crazy shit, and these people are extremely well. It's fucking dope to see. That's crazy. So obviously, and I'm not trying to undermine how they've organized here in America, but it allows people to do that effectively, right? And so, just to finish off my thought, again, it's devastating. And the last thing I want to say is I don't want to hear any of this all lives matter shit, because I want people to understand that yes, no shit, we all fucking matter. As a human race, yes, we all fucking matter. But the point is, right now, Black lives are the priority because they have been constantly, repeatedly abused, killed innocently by the police. This is an issue that is affecting a lot of families. And yes, we are going to face other issues like in the Hispanic community. There are a lot of issues there. With the Asian community, there are a lot of issues there. Yes, we understand that. But right now, this is what we need to focus on. So please, if you really care about human lives, yes, fine. All lives matter. Yes, blah, 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 blah. But right now, we need to focus on our black brothers and sisters. Okay. So those are my thoughts. Beast, I don't know. Do you want to give your thoughts on this craziness?
Obviously, like, you've heard this probably in everywhere and probably every podcast, every radio station, how, devastated it is. And if you've seen the video, I could just imagine, because it like freaking, it's hard to watch. It crushes me all the time that I see it, especially when I see George Floyd's like pictures, like his pictures of just him being human, and just on social media, like that stuff, man, it's crazy to see that. And yeah, it's sad what happened, but what's going on right now, I think it's amazing to see how many people are coming together. It's crazy to see how many other countries are getting involved. Other places are, other than the United States, are protesting as well. And those things are great. I think that there's been a lot of negativity put on the protests, a lot of negativity put to this whole situation that unfortunately the media wants to sell, especially in the Hispanic. You guys seen the Hispanic news? They want to sell you the drama. Yeah. They want to. That's all they want to show you. So, that's why I want to bring more to the fact that there's been so much good. Like, so much good has come out from this. Like, I've never seen so many human beings in agreement. Like, it kind of makes you realize, like, oh snap. Like, humankind isn't lost, Humankind, there's still human beings out there that could empathize, that could see what's wrong and what's right, And it's still alive. It's not hard. Sometimes you think like, yo, this next generation is just who knows, blah, blah, blah. But when you see all of this coming together, I just think, man, it's amazing to see how humans can empathize and how we could work together for a great cause. And yeah, this is way overdue. This is long overdue. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I just want to point light to where it deserves to, of what we're standing for and what everybody's out there standing for George Floyd, for the Black Lives Matter. I heard like you mentioned that like people are saying all lives matter, and I heard somebody said, like somebody on the gram, I don't know if someone reposted it, but it said something like, all lives matter until Black Lives Matter.
Oh, you mean isn't it all lives
something like that
don't matter or something like that?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. All lives don't matter until Black Lives Matter. Right.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I'm like, yo, man, this is like, I don't even know how people are trying to discuss or put their 2 cents on that. Like, it's
how
just,
is it a debate?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just obvious. Like, this is what we got to work towards, and this is what I'm here. And I'm glad to see that, like, we are Hispanic, the people that are in this room, and we're in agreements with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you?
Yeah. Speaking of that, speaking of the Hispanic side, like, I think the younger generation is very vocal. The younger generation is fighting with the black community in this. I think the where the conversation gets ugly sometimes is with our parents, the generation before.
Like older traditional Hispanics.
Yeah. People that may feel like, what do we have to do with this? This is between the black community and the white community. Like, and it's not, I heard someone say, like, this isn't black or colored versus white. This is all races versus racists.
Yeah.
That's what it is. it's all of us against racism, against injustice. Like, forget, you know, obviously the problem does lie a lot in white America, racist white America.
Yeah.
And the people that have suffered the most have been African Americans. But we're all in this. Like, we're all in this. I've experienced racism,
Yeah.
you know. And so it's all of us. It's all of us. All of us do have to stand together. And I have to say, like, speaking of the good, like, I do see a lot of good this time around. You know, I see a lot of good. I see a lot of conversations happening. I see a lot of dialogue happening. You know, I was mentioning to you guys earlier, I was part of a dialogue between, I think it was like 8 of us, 8 people from different parts of the country, different backgrounds, you know, Black, Latino, white, Asian. And it was a dope conversation to have. And I've been loving seeing all these different conversations happening between different people. And I think that's where it starts. It starts with a dialogue. It starts with a conversation, especially this time and age where social media is, it's so easy to just put a comment, a very bad comment, and ignite a flame, ignite anger, and then just step away and leave people angry. And there's no conversation happening. There's no dialogue happening.
Yeah.
And I think that's where things get lost. I think that's where, you know, it just ends there, and there's nothing moving forward. So I think the dialogue and the conversations are super key in this time.
I do want to touch on something that you said, and I think this is very important. And fuck, man, I feel so fucking relieved when I see shit like this, because, man, the amount of young people that are at an early age becoming so involved in politics is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And it just makes me feel good, because I know that, yes, obviously there are going to be some people that are only there for the attention. They're there just to be in the, oh shit, I'm in the crowd, blah, blah, blah. But there are a lot of kids out there that have probably experienced stuff like this because of their color, because of the color of their skin. Their parents have experienced stuff like this. So they have more of an emotional attachment to certain experiences like this.
And I'm not mad if you're just there for the excitement of being part of things and just there just for clout or whatever, because somehow you're going to get schooled up in that moment by being surrounded by people that are there for the right reason and hearing their voice. Rather, if you're just staying home, you know, and sticking with your closed-mindedness and with your opinion. But if you're out there, you're going to get influence in some way.
That's true.
That's what's crazy about what I saw about people that were putting so much light on the looters and like the riots, like all this stuff is crazy, blah, blah, blah. You have people that are actually, there's videos that you see people out there stopping looters, you know, and that to me, I'm like, why aren't people showing more of this? You had the video of John Jones going out there and actually snatching spray cans from people. Did you guys see that video?
I didn't.
I did.
Okay.
You mean the fighter?
Yeah, the fighter John Jones. He was out there like
In New Mexico.
snatching
I didn't see that.
spray cans from teens and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And to me, that's like, yo, that's way better than you just typing something in on your little phone device saying, "Oh my God, look at the looters," or "Oh my God, George Floyd's name is all destroyed because of the looting and all this stuff."
Yeah.
Like, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and go out there and stop those people then? You're about the, I don't believe in looting and other stuff. Go put yourself in front of them. Go put yourself in front of those stores. Protect Target. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go protect these stores that you're saying that shouldn't get. Because there's people out there that are actually doing that.
Yeah.
People are out there, instead of putting all this stuff and putting light to what's not important, they're stopping it from happening. And that's why it's good that some people are actually doing that.
And that comes back to the whole point of why this happened. People are too focused on the result, and they're not paying attention to how we got here.
Yep.
There has been historically, this has been going on in this country for fucking years. And I think I don't know if you showed me that graphic, but there was this graphic I think that Larry showed me on Instagram where they're putting up like a timeline of when slavery ended and then when segregation was still going on, and then like post segregation, and you realize that we're not that far separated from the time that quote unquote segregation actually and legally ended.
I didn't show you a graphic, but I did speak to you.
Okay,
about
so
it,
then I did see that graphic, and then you did bring it up to me. Then
we
so
have people that literally have like that are still alive and lived through segregation.
Yeah,
and it's only I think 3 generations. We're only 3 generations apart from slavery.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it like that. So, you know, the fact that people want to just go and focus on the looting that's happened, because it has happened. We're not here to try to deny it, but I think you have to go and look at why these things happen in the first place. You can't go and treat black people the way they're treated and tell them, hey, I don't want you to take a knee during the game. Do it on your own time.
Right.
Or, hey, I don't want you to talk during the speech at the Oscars. You're just an actor. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when they do protest peacefully, nothing changes. Nothing happens. And this is not me trying to incite violence, but you can't act surprised that this happened, because you're
right.
You can't just sit on the sidelines.
And that it's happening again.
Yes, exactly. And you can't sit on the sidelines and just keep letting this happen, and sit there and expect that, oh, they're just gonna peacefully shit was gonna pop off at some point, and this was the time that it happened.
What I'm glad though, what you said about that you're happy that there's a lot of younger generations out there, is because I think this whole thing is bigger than what people are doing. Like it's not just those predators with badges out there. It's not just those bad eggs, that are doing it. It's the system that is fucked up. The system is fucked up, and these young people seeing all these people getting together and marching and trying to do protesting for change, I think is going to help them get more involved and get more educated on how can we prevent this on an inside level? How? By voting, by actually going to these, being aware of the politics, being aware of who's doing what, and I think because of all of this that's gone on, those questions have been coming up. Do you even know who's in charge? That clown of the police department that spoke. Did you hear the nonsense that he was saying?
From Long Beach?
No.
LAPD?
Yeah, for LAPD.
Oh, I forgot what his name is. But see, I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
Michael Moore? Chief Michael Moore?
I think so.
Something like that.
Something like that. He was saying that the looters are to blame as well as the cops for George Floyd's death. Wow. And to know that you have the power, we all have the power to vote. We voted during votes. You vote for that person.
Okay, let me counter that a little. Okay. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I agree that voting is important.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the thing. I heard someone. I heard John Gray say this, and he said this isn't a politic problem. Mm-hmm. This isn't a political problem. It's a heart problem. It's a heart problem. So, and I believe that, because how are you to know that person's intentions and that person's point of view of things, until moments like this? Because I didn't know that this man felt this way, right? Yeah. This just came out because of what's happening during this time, and I feel like a lot of times, I think Donald Trump is like a unique politic figure, because he's so outspoken, and he doesn't like, you know, cover up what he says. So you could tell where that man stands, right? You clearly know, yo, this man feels this type of way and this type of way of these people, right? Whatever.
Right.
But other people you're mentioning today with Garcetti, right?
Yeah.
How, you know, the way he was speaking and all that, and when Usica was explaining how like he has to speak a certain way because he has to be politically correct. He's got to he's playing
He's got to
politics.
play both sides.
Yeah.
So how can we know when we vote? I mean, there's many times where we can,
Yeah.
but how do you fully know in that moment, like, yo, this person cares for all, you know, all people. He's not a racist.
That is
until
Yeah, but again, I feel like what you're saying is true. You're saying that it's you agree with the politics, but it's also a heart thing, right?
yes,
Okay.
I think it's deeper than just politics. I think it's
Mhm.
deeper than just politics. I think it's a heart issue. It's a personal issue.
Yeah.
And I think it's especially having like my
Well,
experience in Indiana,
How
right?
would you feel, or like somebody's heart? Like how would you determine by when you're, because the only way you see these people is when they, you know, have their debates and their political stuff, right?
Mm.
And who you're voting for.
Yeah,
So in that moment, how are you viewing his heart? How are
No,
I asked this because it was fucking clear where Trump's heart was from the beginning.
Yep.
From the beginning.
And that
of
is why I'm
this.
saying his case was unique.
Mhm.
Because I don't think we had ever had a presidential candidate that was so outspoken
Yeah.
and so clear the way he was.
Mhm.
I had never heard anybody else speak that way.
Mhm.
You know, so we knew where he stood from the beginning. And that's the key. Because it's not that people didn't vote.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was, but
Yeah.
the truth is a lot of the people that voted for Trump stood by what he was saying.
Yeah.
And those are the people's hearts
Yeah.
that I'm talking about. Those are the people. So we could vote and vote, but if the majority of this country
Mhm.
don't care for colored people, then we're screwed. Like we're still screwed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I think, and I'm hearing a lot of leaders, a lot of influential leaders that are trying to, you know, bring this change. They're saying the key is these people starting having conversations with colored people and just having a dialogue
Yeah.
in order to reach people's hearts.
I
You
don't
know,
I don't believe that reaching people's hearts is in a way. I don't believe that it is a deeper problem. It goes into the heart for sure.
Mhm.
Because whatever you really feel inside is what you project. It's what really comes out. Your
Yeah.
actions show that. So for sure,
sometimes.
well, wouldn't it come out to your friends, to your family? Like,
I feel like
wouldn't they
yes,
see
and,
that?
but I feel like also when people are put in a position of power, then they really start to show
Mm-hmm.
who they really are. When you give people
Yeah.
a lot of money,
Mhm.
if you were a greedy person,
Yeah.
when you didn't have money, you're gonna be even greedier when you do have money. If you're a generous person when you were broke, you're gonna be a generous person
Yeah.
when you have money.
Yeah.
And it don't matter if your friends and family are seeing it
Mhm.
if they have the same mentality that you do. It don't matter because they have the same type of, and I'm talking about like these conservative, you know,
Ideals and morals.
yeah, and I know a lot of conservative people that are like great people and are fighting to make a change, and I'm seeing it firsthand. But I'm talking about these people, the people that are okay with the racism, that don't or that just don't see it, are blind to it and ignorant to it for some reason, right? For some reason they are.
Mhm.
Most of these people, their circles are the same way,
Are in
and that
the
is
same ignorance.
exactly. So them showing those actions or showing those, you know, or speaking that way,
Yeah.
it don't matter because there's nobody to like check them and hold them accountable for that.
So what you're saying is that the way we could check them and I guess, bring awareness and change people's hearts is by having conversations, by having these, just real ass.
Yeah, and stepping out of your bubble. Like I and I'm hearing this from a lot of white people that are now fighting so passionately
Yeah.
for equality and for the change and all that. They're fighting for it because they've had conversations with black people, with Hispanic people, with colored people, and they're being like their point of view, their perspective on things has been turned upside down by hearing the experiences that black people have gone through, that colored people have gone through. And but it started because they stepped out of their bubble and started having a conversation and sat at a table with somebody that did not look like
Mm-hmm.
them and that did not and don't think like they do and have a different perspective than what they do.
Yeah.
It took that. And I even had that experience when I was in Indiana and being surrounded by so many conservatives, which I
Yeah.
had never experienced. So
Yeah. I think you're right. It does help for people to step out that way and have those conversations. But I also think it'll help if we ourselves start interrupting conversations when you hear somebody
Mhm.
kind of say something. Most of the time, you just like whatever you go about your day, but having I think empowering yourself to say, "Yo, what did you really mean by that, though? Like, what are you really saying?" Because
Yep.
I'm hella confused right now.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you're saying this,
Mhm.
and putting people on the spot. I think really you're gonna see where they really stand on it. Because
Yeah.
now I'm not calling you. I'm calling you out on these double meanings that you just said, and I want to be clear as fuck to what you're saying right now.
yeah.
I think this is what the times has gotten us to be clear. I think you guys saw on social media how some people were very vocal on certain things. How a lot of people were silent. But then when it came to Tuesday and everybody wanted to post a black square, everybody
They
posted.
were on
it.
that shit.
And you were silent about
Yeah.
the execution that happened.
Yeah.
You brought to light the looting, and then now you're posting a black square. So it's very confusing. Where do you? I feel like those people need to be called out. Like, where
Yeah.
do you stand? What are you saying?
Yeah.
Instead of just because that way, like you're saying, if the same circle, right?
Yep.
Sometimes you're influenced by that same circle. If
Yeah.
if your whole circle is lazy, everybody's gonna be lazy.
Yep.
If most of your circle is working out, eating healthy, that's
Yep.
what's gonna happen. So if you're in one of those circles and maybe you're questioning, you're probably don't fully agree. I think the best way to do it is tell someone, hold up. What are you trying to say though?
Right.
What are you really trying to say with that statement that you said? And where really do you stand? That way you can start knowing I need to get the fuck out of this
Yep.
circle and do what you're saying. Step out and learn and educate and
And
uh-huh.
last thing
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say is, and because I've seen a lot of people say, "Yo, I'm gonna start unfollowing a
Yeah.
lot of you that are staying silent."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think we should do that.
Yeah.
I don't think you should block those people.
Yeah.
Because you might be the only voice that's speaking any sense into them.
I unblocked some people after I had a conversation with them online. About what they were saying, and just to be clear, because I want to know what are you posting this out of ignorance and you're not informed, or are you just a straight up fucking dumbass that shouldn't be involved in my life, that whatever you're posting is sickening to me. And then some people I blocked them, and then I'm saving it for when I catch you. I'm saving it for when we see each other, because I'd rather tell you to your face than I unfollowed you on the Instagram.
Right.
Yeah. I think that has more of a powerful impact, like a
What?
one-on-one
Yeah.
conversation,
Oh yeah.
as opposed to and I honestly, in my group of whatever Instagram followers, I haven't seen any of the people that I follow post dumb shit. Everyone's kind of been on the same wavelength.
Thank God, bro.
But yeah, for real. But I think if somebody were to say some outlandish shit or respond to me and be like, "Yo, you're fucking brainwashed," I would respond and be like, "Okay, tell me why I'm brainwashed. What have you heard then?"
Yeah,
But
because it definitely is an opportunity. what you're trying to say, to inform.
Yeah.
Because people might be talking out of their ass,
Yeah.
not informed about shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I want to bring up a quote. I don't know if it's verbatim, but it started circulating around on the internet. And it's Chris Rock. Chris Rock is a comedian. Obviously, he's a very famous comedian, and he said something that I thought was nice, was interesting. He says, "I know it's hard being a cop, but some jobs can't have bad apples.
yep.
Everybody got to be good.
Wow.
Yep.
Like pilots, American Airlines can't be like, most of our pilots like to land. We just got some bad apples that like to crash into mountains."
Sheesh.
Bro.
And so,
You gotta send me that.
yeah,
right
it's
away.
dope. I love that, and I love Chris Rock's commentary on all these black issues. He's always ahead of it. But that is one thing that, like, you have to realize that certain jobs carry certain standards.
Yep.
You
Mhm.
can't go to McDonald's and expect somebody to be the best fucking fry cook in the world, like, because and that's no offense to people that work at McDonald's. It's,
They're getting paid.
you know, they're getting paid, they're making their money, but you know, it doesn't take too much to get in there, right?
Yeah.
Now let's compare that to if you want to be a fucking surgeon, you have to study your ass off for
Mhm.
fucking years.
Yeah.
You have to practice everything that you're learning in the textbooks, and we hold,
And even when
these-
you're out of school, you're still not.
yeah, like
doing
you're
it.
still not, yeah, exactly. So you have to be book smart. You have to have the experience. You have to be practical, right? And then they also teach you about compassion. They teach you about how to communicate effectively with your patients, because if you have to tell somebody, "Hey, your dad's gonna die," you got to know how to present that to them as genuinely, softly, and kindly as possible, right? So
Right.
you have to learn all these things to a high standard,
Yeah.
right? So why is it that it takes a lawyer years and years and years to learn the fucking law, but we trust a police officer that is training for less than a year to know these laws, to know how to properly protect us?
Yeah.
Because to me, it sounds like the bar to be a police officer, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, from all these things that have been going on, is extremely fucking low.
Yeah.
And these are the people that have the ability to end your life right away.
Mm-hmm.
A surgeon can't just kill you because, I mean, there are a lot of protocols. It's unethical. They've been trained not to. And even if they were doing malpractice, people will report that shit immediately and you're done. You're
Yeah.
never practicing medicine again.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. I don't understand why it's not the same thing with police. I mean, I understand
Yeah.
why, but it's baffling to me that a profession like a police officer is not held to a higher standard.
Yep. And that statement is like perfect, bro, on what it is right now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like are saying like, well, it's 99.99999% of cops are really good. It's that 0.001% that is bad, and it's like that's to me. One, I feel like you're tripping on that statement because I think you're fooled. You think that it's 99.9% of good cops out there. When ask a lot of people, just hear these conversations, see all the videos, you're gonna start
all
noticing
the experiences.
You're gonna start realizing that it's not
Yep.
0.1% of people.
Yep.
And even if it was, benefit of that, it is 0.1%. Like you're saying, why are we accepting that?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we okay with accepting
Yeah.
0.1%? That means 0.1% of lives could die,
Yeah.
and we're okay with it.
And not only 0.1, because if
Yeah.
you think about it, those 0.1% of officers being bad
Yeah.
are getting away with it multiple times over and over
Yep.
again. Like this guy that murdered Big Floyd. Like he had previously, had
Yeah.
complaints of treating people wrong and stuff. So you're having this over and over again by these people. So I think even then, like it goes deeper. And here I'm gonna even go step aside from not just saying the heart, but again the voting. Like I think, I felt I hadn't spoken this out yet, because I felt it was very controversial.
Hang on to that thought real quick. I want to add something to what you said. I'm
Okay.
sorry to cut you off. To the 0.1%. I think people also don't realize that even if it is just one officer, that one officer that takes the life of a person doesn't just affect that person. It affects their
Right.
parents, their siblings, their kids if they have any, their friends, their family, their coworkers. So it's a lot.
And you're adding to the distress that has been there for years and years and years in the African American community.
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just wanted to bring that up real quick.
What you felt was a bit
Controversial.
controversial.
Yes.
That you haven't spoken.
Yeah.
That is going to be said
Shit.
on
So
the
this is the
Necked
first time we're
the
hearing
Necked
about
Out
it.
podcast first.
Yeah. And I did hear, I heard a very influential leader share this recently, and I was like, oh man, I'm not the only person that think this. And I was thinking, why aren't we talking about this more?
All right. Let's
And
hear
it's the fact that the Constitution and all these laws were all these amendments were written in a time where slavery existed and a time where racism was like up front in your face, like
Yep.
And we just lost all our listeners.
And the FBI
They're all
just
gone.
shut this
Everyone.
Necked
Hey,
Out podcast
dang.
down.
Donald Trump's knocking at our door now.
So my question is: it time?
Yeah.
Is it time?
Oh,
This
Has
is
it been
interesting,
time?
bro.
I think I heard Joe Rogan say he was doing a joke about it. He was saying like, I don't know if it was on his podcast or a stand-up, but he was like, these presidents would be saying right now, you guys didn't fucking write anything else. It's been so fucking long. You guys really didn't think we might have to adjust and like do this
Right.
shit? So,
It's a good point because I think the world from where we are now, if you look at where we are now to where the country, I obviously wasn't around, none of us were around, but if you look at just the wording, what it talks about in the Constitution, I haven't read all of it verbatim. I've taken small glimpses of it, so I know what's kind of in there. It just doesn't reflect what the time that we live in now. And stores, companies, government agencies are constantly changing their policies.
Yeah.
Hang on. They're constantly changing their policies.
Yeah.
They're allowed to evolve.
Yeah.
And somehow
And we
we're
promote
okay.
that. We
Yeah.
promote, we push, we encourage
We want progress.
a lot
We
of
want
change in different
Yes.
areas.
But for some reason, the Constitution is completely untouchable, and I don't know if that's
this is a
like
good
just
conversation.
this is America, and you can't change the Constitution. If I'm not mistaken, we had amendments, things that were added. I don't know if it was to the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, but it was something about the 13th Amendment, that was basically ending slavery or something. I can't remember, but something like that.
Okay,
So
you're right.
there have been changes made to the Constitution. Changes as in like we've added certain things like, oh, slavery is bad. We're going to put that into the Constitution. So why can't we just rewrite things that are already in there? Like what makes them so untouchable? Like I'm not saying we have to get rid of all these things, but let's adjust the wording in the Constitution to reflect the times that we live in, the people that are here. You know? And it's just
definitely. And you see that now in these times, like with the legalization of weed in California. Like people have looked into like cases in jail, like who got arrested for having, like, I think they have like rules of like if you were arrested for these charges, well, we need to release you out of jail because legally now you would have been okay to be out and about. And they're making adjustments accordingly to how that is. So, and again, there was I think it was Centoya Brown or Centoya Jackson. Did you guys hear about that story?
No.
About how she was basically, what is it called? She went out with a guy, with a man, an older man. She was 16 years old. She was told to go out on the streets and like go make money, and she went to this older man's house and she essentially killed him. and then she got trialed as an adult. She got trialed for
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
she got trialed for an adult. She got like the whole book thrown at her.
Yeah.
And then, 10 years later, she's been in there and all that stuff. There's a documentary about it. She now they're saying that had her case happened in 2020, 2018, she wouldn't have been a criminal. She would have been victim of like sexual trafficking or sex. She would have been a victim of like these people abusing these little girls and making them go out there and prostitute themselves. She would have been considered a victim that was defending herself and fighting to get out of this. But because it happened 20 years ago, back then everybody was like, yeah, no, she murdered this guy. She murdered this guy and they threw the book at her, whatever. Now she's free. She like went to college in her jail. Like there was an actual program there where classes were taught and all this stuff. So it's crazy how something 20 years ago they saw her as a criminal, they saw her as someone that needed to be put in jail, and now they're saying she would be considered a victim of all these,
Man.
So all what I'm trying to say is that I think we need to get to that point.
Yep.
We need to get to the point where we could actually.
Yeah. And how much longer is it gonna take? How much longer are we gonna let? How much time are we gonna let pass by?
Yeah.
In order to start, making these changes.
Here's an idea, and I just thought of it right now, so it might not even make sense. What if we took a case like
it.
that? Like, you don't like it?
Just
You
kidding.
can suck a fart out of my ass. So what if we take like whatever, a high profile case, right?
Yeah.
And high profile case is being used as a loose term right now. But we take it and we say, okay, this person is going to be sentenced to prison for fucking 20 years. All right, fine. Now, in 20 years, the world might be a little different. We might see things a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't we do something where it's like, okay, it's been 5-7 years. Let's revisit this case real quick. Let's see if it applies to the definition of whatever a victim or a criminal,
Yeah.
and see if it still applies, if it's still relevant today.
Right.
Yep.
And sort of like kind of just
And you see,
like-
to me, that sucks. It
that we can't
sucks.
do that.
That we have to
No.
do that.
No. Yes.
That we have to
Oh,
go
I
it
see
like
what you mean.
sucks.
I see what you mean.
It sucks that this person has to lose 5-7 years of their lives.
10, 20 years.
10, 20 years of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
For example, last night I was reading about George Stinney Jr. Have you guys heard that name?
No.
This is the youngest person that was electrocuted, that was executed.
Oh, got the chair?
Really?
Got the chair, yeah.
Oh shit!
He was a black 14-year-old kid.
What?
Yep. And
Shocking.
and
No pun intended.
I think
sorry.
it was like in
Wow.
1948 or something like that.
No way.
Crazy.
He got accused of killing two girls, and he got like, his parents weren't allowed to talk to him, speak to him.
Wow.
I think he got like questioned and all that by himself, right?
Yep.
So
He had no attorney.
and he did, and I think like his attorney didn't like offer an appeal or didn't offer him different options. It was kind of like just plead
take
guilty,
yeah,
type of
take
thing,
the plea.
And
what is a 14-year-old gonna know? Like when
Right.
their
Yeah.
attorney's telling them, "Yo, you could get this, you could that." They're not gonna know what's what.
Yep. And so, and he stood by
Yeah.
the fact that he would always say, I didn't do it. Like, I'm not guilty of.
Yeah.
And years later, so in 2014,
Mm-hmm.
in 2014, they like changed the verdict on it and said he was innocent.
Wow.
And the
That's
family
fucking
still
crazy.
says that, that isn't true and that he did in fact kill the girls. But his brothers later, I think, said no, he was with us at the time.
Yeah.
And then all these other things
Yeah.
happened, but just he was acquitted of the charges. Like, but he like wasn't able to live out his life.
Yeah.
Because of the way our system
where was
is
that
set
at?
up.
That sounds like it's in one of those like we're real ass.
Yeah, it was in the South.
Yeah, bro, because that would not fly over here, bro. How you going to want like?
That's crazy.
You cannot talk to this 14-year-old kid like with the case of Centoya. They were saying that like the officer was saying you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, you know, they did the Miranda rights.
Yeah.
And they were asking her later on, like, do you even understand what that means? And you see in the recording when they're asking her this that the officer is playing it like, if you just tell me the truth, I'm going to help you out.
Yep.
And her as a 16-year-old, 15-year-old girl we're taught to trust these officers.
Yeah.
And they're there to like teach you and help you out and all this stuff. And then so you could see it directly on her face that she's a bit confused, but she's trying to trust this officer. And then he didn't do anything for her. They like found out how to twist her words and how to say things that later on in the court they used against her. Because again, she didn't really understand what it meant to you have the right to remain silent.
Right.
This cop was saying you do have that right, but I'm gonna help you out if you just tell me the truth. Blah blah blah. X and Y and Z will happen, and it was the complete opposite of that. So it's crazy that even.
Yeah, it's. And here's another thought. Hot take. No, it's not really a hot take. But and I've heard this a lot from celebrities. And as much as, you know, I do have this kind of not a hatred for celebrities.
Okay.
It's
a weird statement.
But I know that, you know, a lot of times when people get into like a normal person, like an average person gets, you know, hooks up with a celebrity, and like if they don't get what they want or something like that, sometimes they'll accuse them of something. Maybe it does happen, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because there are cases, yes, that, you know, celebrity does something shady, and yes, they either get away with it or they get in trouble, but the fact remains that they did something shady, right? But there are also cases where a celebrity doesn't do anything and they're actually innocent.
Yeah.
And these people, these like regular ass people, are trying to accuse them for something that they didn't do. And now they have that stain on them. And the accuser, nothing happens to the accuser. And I feel like there should be some kind of law. I don't know if there is. I haven't heard of it. But some kind of law that says that if you knowingly and wrongfully accuse somebody of something that they didn't do, and it, you know, it affects their life in a negative way to where, you know, they can't get employed somewhere or something like that, then you suffer repercussions. You get fined. You get sent to or something like that, because that can be extremely tarnishing to somebody's image, to their career, especially if they're a very high profile celebrity. Like, let's say, right, just an example. Let's say somebody comes out and says, LeBron James raped me, right? And now, you know, obviously LeBron James is an amazing athlete. He does so much for the community. Does so much for kids look up to this man and want to be like him. They admire him, right? And now this person who's wrongfully accusing him of that now has to deal with that. Now there's a stain on him, and now, you know, people are very quick to stop supporting a celebrity or stop supporting somebody. As soon as one little thing comes out, they're like, "Oh, that's it. You're a bad person." Blah blah blah. So then, you know what? So then, what happens to the accuser? Nothing happens to them. They just go on. Oh well, okay. Well, I'm gonna leave now. You know, like there's no accountability. There's no accountability for them to be truthful and be like, are you accusing somebody of something that happened? Or are you just fucking mad that they didn't fucking let you ride in their Lamborghini and you're just out to get them?
No, I think there is though. There's this thing like if you.
So the last 5 minutes of me talking was bullshit.
No, there is. It's something like if you say some companies could sue. Oh, Lamborghini was suing somebody for taking a picture, like with a bunch of racks and like a bunch of stuff, and they told them, "Yo, you have to take that down." It was Lamborghini or Porsche or one of these major ones. They told them you can't use our product like that. I know you own it, but you can't be taking pictures of our product like that because it makes us look this way, and that's not what this company stands for, and we could sue you for it. So it's basically like,
interesting.
yeah, it's like if you accuse an artist of something and it turns out that you were lying the whole time, you could actually sue them for for like throwing dirt to your name and making your image what brings you money, your business, all that
Yeah.
stuff. They could sue you for for damages.
Yeah, and you see, and I feel like these big companies or these big celebrities would be able to do that. But what about these like
Yep.
other, like, for example, the Central Park Five? Like, what if they,
Oh yeah, you
you
were
know,
telling me about that.
yeah, like what if they didn't have the money to invest in lawyers
Yeah.
to be able to do that, to be able to file a
Yeah,
lawsuit
and that's
and fight this, and so I think that's where the unfairness comes. That's where
Yeah,
the
bro.
injustice comes. Luckily these guys, the Central Park Five, for example, they they had the backing, they had people
Yeah.
rallying behind them to do this, and they were rewarded. But even then, like, yo, you lost your childhood, you lost. I feel like you can't, like, you can never
There's
get back
no,
time. There's no way that you could, so yeah.
Heck no, bro. There's no way. With all the money that they'll throw at you, if you wasted years in jail for a crime that you didn't commit, no matter how much money you get, those years are there. They've done their scarring. They've done whatever growth you needed to learn from inside of there, unjustly probably. But no money in the world can make you say, all right, it was just 20 years.
Not
I'm
a big
cool."
deal.
Yeah, no, there's no
Yeah.
amount of money, bro.
How are we looking on time? Can you give us a quick little
Think we're an hour and 6 minutes in.
hour,
Yeah,
6 minutes
okay.
in? All right. I want to end it off on like a light note. If that's okay.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I just wanted to say one more thing about what you mentioned, about the voices, like the people that have to wait that long for them to see justice. And for all that stuff, I think that one of the biggest things that I think is going to happen now from the case is these officers are now they're arrested and they're charged, right? Finally, the main cop is getting second degree. Yeah. How many cases I feel are going to open up because of this? Because a lot of these cases we don't know about. There's a lot of cases that me and you don't know about that weren't caught on video, but have a similarity to that. And I feel that if, when they get charged and all that stuff, it'll give these lawyers an opportunity to go back and look at other cases.
It sets precedent for previous cases.
Because if for this whole time you're telling me that this person, had an offense with an officer and he got murdered in this manner, and you're telling me that you gave him second degree, but right here you let them walk, now they have to revisit this.
Yeah.
So, point that I was trying to make to that, I think that it does suck that they had to spend those years, maybe those years of the unknown, those years of that sorrow that innocent person got accused that way and maybe died that way. But with cases like this and what's going on, I think it'll give hope to those cases that were unsolved. Like the fact that they're doing this, that they're charged, that they're arrested, to me says a lot.
Yeah.
Even though it's like you're doing the bare minimum of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, let's not get that confused.
Right.
Yeah.
What you're doing is the bare minimum.
It shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Exactly. But I think it's great that it is happening right now because it's setting a standard.
Yeah.
To all those cops, all those 0.1% bad eggs that they claim are out there, it's gonna set a
you
tone.
Mess up. I'm coming for you.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
So how are you trying to end this on the light?
I want to end it on the topic, but I just want to end it in a better way.
Okay.
I think yes, there have been a shit ton of negative things that have come out of this, but I think there have also been this has been the first step into actual reform. I feel I might be just foolish because I feel like we haven't seen anything like this before, but we have seen moments where people have mobilized and they've been protesting
Yeah. Something
but
does feel different about this.
it
time
does
around.
feel different. And
Yeah.
so my hope and what I'm looking forward to is what happens after this is all said and done. What happens after like all the protesting is done? Are we going to show up to vote? You know, what's going to happen at the end of the year? We're in an election year. Who
Yeah.
knows how the fuck that's going to happen? And that's going to be like, that's another topic like for another fucking day. But, you know, what happens now? And I really feel optimistic in a sense that I feel like people are more aware to what's going on.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to be in good hands. I feel like my kids are going to be in good hands because of the young kids that are getting involved right now.
Yep.
They're going to be smarter. They're going to be more resilient.
Even us, like we're
Yeah.
still part of this like young generation that can bring change.
You know what?
You
it
gotta
made-
speak for yourself. I'm
No,
getting
you're
to
s-
my 30s.
You're still.
Nah,
I'm
you're not
old,
even
bro.
at
I'm
your-
old,
Yeah.
bro.
Even if you were at your 30s, like
Yeah.
I think you're still considered, you know, part
Yeah.
of this new wave of
Yeah.
And-
Probably.
I hope
people,
what
yeah.
comes after this is more people investing in the youth, more
Yeah.
people actually going out there and speaking to these young people
And listening too.
listening
Absolutely.
to them, but
Mhm.
also letting them know,
empowering them.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
how much power you guys truly
Yep.
have.
Mhm.
Because this right now, what they see at the moment at the age of 16, 14, people are running your country right now. There's people that are but you have to realize that you're going to be the recipient of that
Yep.
when you get older. So that's why I feel like it goes to a way deeper level. But the younger generation has so much power
Oh
that
yeah.
it actually benefits these people to keep the youth silent. It
Yeah.
benefits them to keep them numb
Mhm.
on bullshit, instead of them realizing how much power they really have and how much numbers there are of them.
Oh yeah.
How many youth are there out there?
Yep.
Tons. And
Yep.
if you just get informed and if you have people speaking to you consistently, investing in, after school programs and whatever it takes,
Yep.
after this, that's what I hope. That after all the protests and everything, there's still a consistent line of information
Yep.
going to these kids' lives.
I love that you're saying this.
Yep.
LOD is coming.
It is coming.
LOD
Yes,
is
sir.
coming. The
Yes,
LOD
sir.
movement
Of
will
course,
come out of this.
it will be born. All right, guys. Well, this was a great topic. I'm glad we got to talk about it. I know we had, small conversations leading up to this, and obviously we've been keeping up with events, but I think it was good that we actually sat down
Yeah.
and spoke about these things and had reflections and had our thoughts and opinions. And I think moving forward, this is something that we're going to look back at and be like, yeah, it was a shitty it was intense. It was shitty. It was scary a little
Yeah.
bit at times,
Oh, yeah.
but I think it was completely necessary
Yep.
for the progression of the country, for the progression of proper black representation in the country.
Mhm.
And this could also lead to, like the Hispanic community looking inside and being like, okay, how can we help
Right.
each other?
Yeah.
And then this can be something that the black community goes, hey, we're in this together. We're
Yeah.
all minorities here. Let's
Yeah.
help each other out. Let's
Yeah.
become an actual community and not just say we
Yeah.
are, So I'm hopeful for the future. I'm excited. I really think good things are going to come out of it. But we're going to leave it at this for now.
Awesome.
I want to thank our good friend Larry Alexander
you.
for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
me.
We appreciate you taking the time
I
out.
feel like
of
it's
your
gonna be one of
very
many.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be here. He'll be
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah. I'm not that far away from you guys, so
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll just
I
gotta-
can
You can
stop
come-
by whenever you guys.
You can sleep over at the studio when you're not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but all right, guys. That's gonna do it for our episode. Once again, my name is Usica.
This is Beast.
This is the Necked Out Podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.